Yeah, I freestyled that first. Se llama Miluhska. Tú sabes que ella es la musa. And I walk out and I'm like, do you mind my name being on the song like that? He's like, yeah, it sounds sick. I was like, thank you. I think that's awesome.
Well deserved. Welcome to Off Club.
Thank you.
This is a new podcast by Techno State of Mind in the Ibiza Sonica studios in Playa Soleil. And we are joined by
Miluhska.
Welcome. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling great. I'm feeling really excited for tonight.
Good. I know she has a gig tonight at Solid Grooves in DC-10. So it's a good way to start off
My favorite
the trip.
club.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, honestly.
In the world?
Yes.
Wow. What makes it so special to you?
I don't know. I've just discovered so much new genres and really, I think the club has really taught me a lot.
Wow.
About music. I feel like Miami definitely also did, but coming here is just a different energy.
Mm-hmm.
What I was telling him is that actually Miami is my place to get my shit together.
Okay.
Go to the gym, eat healthy, hide at home.
Okay.
And then I come here and it's rock star energy
Yeah,
everywhere. Literally.
Yep. But it's a good music education in Ibiza too. So many people and everything that you talk to is just learning and learning and learning more things. Then
And
you
all
bring
the
it to
artists are
Miami.
here too.
Yep, exactly.
So it's cool.
Good. Well, good. So we want to get to know you a little bit more, where you came from, your roots a bit. So we're just going to start asking. So how much has your Ecuadorian and Peruvian roots shaped your artistic identity today?
Well, I am very proudly a Latina, of course. I was born in Miami, and when I was 3 years old, I moved to Ecuador, and I grew up there pretty much for 8 years, and then I moved back to Miami. So I think that's a big part of why I don't speak English or Spanish, I speak Spanglish.
Spanglish.
And you can hear that in all my music.
Yep.
You can even hear that when I'm conversating just normally. And definitely my roots come from Shakira, Paulina Rubio, Fanny Lu, all those Latin pop stars from back in the day. And then coming to Miami, it's I learned a lot about hip hop and R&B and stuff. So I feel like my sound definitely has those two mixed together. Y por eso también, when I make music, there you go. Y por eso, that's why when I make music, you could definitely hear the Latin energy. I'm a sucker for Latin percussions or Latin guitars. It's a must in my music.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you do think that your culture has definitely influenced what your music sounds like today, your voice, everything?
100%. Yeah.
That's good. And before becoming a DJ, so you were already a singer and songwriter, but what was your first connection with music, would you say?
So actually, I'm really glad you asked that because that's a big misconception.
Oh.
People think that I started as a singer and a songwriter, but I actually started DJing because I was too scared to sing.
No way.
So my story is actually really crazy because, of course, I've been singing my whole life since I was a kid.
Okay.
My mom said that I could sing before I could talk. But it was just a dream that I just never thought was gonna come true.
The dream was becoming a DJ before even exploring the vocals and
No,
anything?
the DJ came because in 2018 I fell in love with the underground.
Yep.
I went to space for the first time and I never looked back. But and I was going religiously every weekend. And it got to a point where I was always the aux cable at friends' parties and stuff like that.
In the car.
Or in the car, yes,
Yep.
always. So it got to a point where I saw I was at space and I would think to myself, I would never say it out loud, but I was I think I could do that. I think I could do that. And eventually, I would always go to sleep dreaming about, singing on a stage in front of a crowd.
Yeah.
But that was just too scary.
Okay.
And long story
Well,
short, yeah, it's
tough.
it's vulnerable.
Tough.
It's vulnerable.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I feel I always say DJing is part of the new and improved Milu.
Mm-hmm.
But singing, performing, writing, that's hugging little Milu.
Okay.
But that came afterward because I feel the DJing kind of got me out of my shell and kind of made me feel comfortable on the stage, even though I wasn't doing the vulnerable thing, pulling out a mic and singing to you.
Exactly.
But DJing, I'm not saying it's an easy job. It definitely has its, things, but doing live music, it's a whole new challenge, and it's a lot of moving parts, a lot of things can go wrong last minute. When DJing, you just plug in and you play music. Like honestly, at this point, I could probably do it in my sleep.
Okay.
But
Good to know.
yeah, but yeah.
Well, in a last interview, you did say that Club Space in Miami did change your life, and you just mentioned it now. So what was that specific moment that actually did like become such a huge impact on your life?
Well, I told you I've always been really into rap and hip hop and like reggaeton.
Me too.
Because I'm from Miami, of course. And I would always go to hip hop like clubs and stuff. And I realized like I truly was one of the only people that went to the club for the music.
Okay.
Like everybody would be singing the chorus, like the hook, and I'd be singing the verses. You know, like I actually
like
knew
dancing
the
on the
music.
beats.
Exactly. But I went in 2018. My friends took me to Space for the first time.
First time, okay.
And it's just like different energy. Like I felt so free to like be myself and to dance like an animal. And while people were watching, but nobody cared because everybody's also dancing like an animal.
For sure.
When you go to like a hip hop club, I feel like people are just standing around the tables and like who has the most bitches, who has the most tables, you know?
Yeah.
But at Club Space, it just felt like everybody was one, and it just felt so free. And I never looked back, honestly. Like I don't really go to hip hop clubs. I do listen to that music.
Yep.
But it's just different energy, that club.
Yep,
like
for
it
sure.
really made me feel like myself.
Well, now you probably go out also and you're like studying a bit what other artists are doing and stuff, so it's also a
I
different
barely
way.
go out nowadays. I really only go out if I'm getting paid nowadays.
Yeah, fair.
But that's because
Well, she's a working girl now, you
yes,
know?
and
it's a job.
you play every weekend, so it's like you're at a club every weekend. Unless it's like a DJ that I die for, that I'm gonna go see, fine.
I was always wondering that about DJs, actually. So saying that you only go out when you're performing and everything, so does this mean like you do consider it as like an amazing party also, or do you separate the two things, like the work and the party?
I mean, listen, I have a really fun job. At the end of the day, like we're always at a party. I don't care what you want to call it. Like it's at the end of the day, you are going to a party. It did take a bit for me to find balance and like discipline, because I'm a party girl at heart. And so it was easy, and everything's so accessible, especially when you're an artist, everything's offered to you.
Of course.
And so like it did take a second to realize, okay, maybe I shouldn't be drinking every single weekend at every single gig, because this is not sustainable. But you have to like go through it and like fall to pick yourself back up and be like, okay, you need to learn the balance. Okay, last year was really the first year that I was really, really touring.
Okay.
And I got super tired. I got depressed.
Managing
like, I felt
that
lonely.
must be hard.
It is hard. It is really hard. But I think it's important to just like realize your priorities and that you are going to work at the end of the day, even though you are going to a party. But everybody finds their own balance. Yeah, it's hard to find discipline in this industry, I gotta say. But
well, good. And already saying that at your age and everything, already feeling like you made that connection, I feel like it's a great step in the right direction for your career and everything.
It took some time, but thanks.
Yeah, of course. No, but it seems to be good already. And so I read that one of your first DJ opportunities came before you really knew how to use a CDJ.
Yes.
So is that true?
It's very true.
And?
I'm like the definition of fake it till you make it.
Okay.
Because there was a time where I was going to Space religiously, like I told you, and I did get super lost in that industry. I mean, in that world, it's so easy to get lost, especially in Miami or like a place like Ibiza, where again everything's accessible.
Yep.
And nobody has chill, and so nobody, and so there was a point where like I lost all my friends because I lost myself. I became like unrecognizable, honestly.
Okay.
And then I went through something that kind of like brought me back to me. And in that moment where this popular girl that went to every party and was like super invited everywhere, like suddenly had nobody. Like for the first time in my life, I felt alone. But it's good. It's good. I feel like rock bottom is like the best place to be because it's only up from there.
Where you go.
Yes.
There is only up from there.
No, I wouldn't be where I am if I didn't hit that rock bottom.
Okay.
But I started going to Space by myself. And
just as like to party, as a dancer, or also
just because
you weren't playing there at this point.
I wasn't playing.
No.
I had never touched CDJs, but I already knew that I kind of wanted to start doing music as like my career. And I started going to Space by myself. At the time, I had signed up to an institute called SAE, which is Sound Audio Engineering in Miami. And I was going to the school and I was getting really inspired because I was, for the first time, going to a space with like-minded people.
Cool.
You know, in Miami. No offense to my Miami people, but sometimes you guys are very basic bitches and you guys are doing the same thing. It's like going to school, go to college, get married, have kids. And I was like not doing that.
Well, that's the USA way.
Exactly. I'm like, I was not doing that. And so I started going to space by myself and I would just be in the DJ booth, like meeting all these people. Like I would meet this creative director, then I would meet this like fashion designer and this producer and this everything. So when they would ask me what I did, I would be like confidently say, "Oh, I'm a DJ, and I'm a producer," and
so
I had never DJed, and I never produced anything.
That's crazy.
But I knew I was gonna do it.
And that was the gig that led you to.
So a friend of mine, I told him, I met him, and I told him that I was a DJ, and again, never touched CDJs. And he one day told me, "Hey, like I remember you told me you're a DJ. Like, do you wanna play for the opening of my bar here in Wynwood, which is a neighborhood in Miami."
Such a good one too.
Yeah,
like,
and I was like,
yeah, nice.
and it was the gig was in like 3 days since he asked me, and
Crazy.
I was like, okay,
let's do this.
Let's do it. I literally learned how to DJ in 3 days.
Wow.
Not the best, but.
So were you scared that people were gonna think like, oh, they're gonna know I'm just beginning, or you were like, F it, it's all gonna be good?
To be honest, like, I do things that I'm scared of for fun, like for a living, literally. And I think that was one of the things I was scared to do, but I was like, there's an opportunity here, I'm gonna take it. Even if it fails, like whatever. I have nothing to lose.
Even meeting you for the short amount of time, I feel like you totally embody that sort of mentality,
honestly,
which is amazing.
The event got postponed.
Okay.
So it didn't happen, but after that, I had already borrowed my friend's equipment and I had it at my house, and after that, it was just like, addicting.
Nice.
Like night and day, night and day. My mom was like, yeah, Milu.
She can do it.
Because I live with my mom. And she was just like, okay, enough with the
She was supportive all the time.
She was always supportive, but it got to a point where I was just playing music all day.
Yeah.
My mom was like, I need some silence for literally 2
Some
seconds,
peace.
please.
Yeah, understandable.
If I wasn't singing, I was DJing.
Yeah, that's okay. Well, speaking of singing, so I know now we heard a little bit about your start to DJing, maybe producing a bit. So when did you realize that your voice could become part of your artistic identity?
Well, like I said, I started DJing because I saw it more of like a loophole.
Okay.
Where I could start producing my music, putting my voice in it, and just playing it, and never having to sing live, but still putting my voice out there.
But so you always knew you were like, I can sing good. You always knew this, or was it something that came later?
No, so I started DJing, and then at the time, I started learning how to DJ, and at the time I was dating someone, and he sadly passed away, very abruptly out of nowhere. And my whole life, like, I always really wanted people to know that I could sing. I really wanted to share my voice, but again, it's a scary thing.
Yeah.
So I
One of the
remember,
most.
yeah, I would remember like recording myself, and then posting the video, and then I'd quickly delete it because I was like, no, like that's so scary. And then when he passed away, like I found this song called "Since I Left You" by Joy Crooks, that really described the feeling that I was feeling and the relationship I had with that person. And I was just like in my room playing the piano and singing. I always recorded myself, but those videos were just for me. And I remember I recorded that and I looked at the video, and I don't know, without realizing it, I realized later that my mindset just did like a 180. And suddenly I was like, life is too short. And like, I do this because I love it. And if I want to share it, like, just do it. And so I remember that day I posted the video, I gave the phone to my mother, and I was like, don't let me delete that. Keep the phone for 2 hours, and I'm gonna let the world find out. And so she gave me the phone back, and when I got the most beautiful messages, and even though I totally believe that you don't need outside validation, I think in that moment I kind of needed someone to believe in me more than just my mom or myself.
Push you a little bit more.
Yes, and it did bring me a lot of confidence to be like, okay, well, people actually like this. Maybe I'm actually good, you know? And then not long after that, a friend of mine DM'd me, and he was like, hey, is this you singing? And I was like, yes. And he's like, well, do you want to sing on this track? Like, I made this track, whatever. I had never made music before I put it out. And that's where my first track was born, called Biscayne Lady. And I think something that really like solidified it for me is the fact that it's really hard for like new artists or independent artists to put out music and it be successful. Like, but for some reason, God loves me, and none of my tracks have ever really flopped.
Yeah.
Even when I didn't have the resources.
So even your first song ever produced already went like hit the charts.
Yes, it really did, and it was like really cool to see.
You got angels.
I do have angels.
That's crazy. Or just extremely talented, we can say. Wow, cool. Good to know. And it's kind of curious, like another moment where it's like, another moment where it was like, oh, a low point in life that again brought something so great out of it again. So it's kind of curious that path again.
Yes.
So then, so do you think that, well, your voice is kind of what differentiates you from other artists, you would say?
I mean, I say this all the time because I did start like this would be my 6th year in my career.
Okay.
Doing this like for real. And I will say like my trajectory has been a bit like quick, but I generally believe it's because of my voice.
Okay.
Like I wouldn't be here without my voice. And I'm a COVID DJ, okay? And COVID is like when all the DJs, everybody started DJing. Like you would you look under the table, more DJs. Like you look to the left, more DJs, right? And so it got to a point where I was like, maybe I do need to start using my voice more, because what else is gonna help me stand out right now? And so I definitely do think that it's a special thing for me. But yeah, I'm grateful for it because I wouldn't be here without it. So.
Oh, I just want to hear you right now. So when you're producing, then this is kind of a funny question, like what came first, the chicken or the egg? But what came first, like when you're producing, the voice or the music? Like the groove usually, or the voice first?
Like when I'm making music?
When you're making music, yes.
My creative process is very messy, I will say. Like I said, I'm huge at like winging it and freestyling. And it's a gift, but it's also a curse. Because I do wish I was a little bit more organized in that. But I think that's the beauty of my music. Like a lot of my music doesn't have structure. And even when I put music out and I'm working with a label, they're like, you need structure, like you need this. And I'm like, do I though? Like I think it's the beauty of my music.
Rule breaker.
Yeah. And so creative process, sometimes I'll have things like written down. Sometimes I'll just freestyle over like a very bare-boned groove. Okay. Because I do produce the music with whoever I'm making music with. But it's like sometimes I want to make the beat and then get on the vocals, but sometimes, most of the time, when we start making the groove, I'll just start spitting things out and I'm like, give me the mic, because the ideas are just coming out. Okay. But yeah.
So vocal first, usually we would say.
It depends. It depends on the vibes, honestly. It depends on what we're doing. There's not really like a set routine.
Fair enough. It's just whatever flows when you're creating. Yes. All right, amazing. And when was the moment that you first started, that you noticed that the scene was starting to believe in your project? Like, was there a big moment where you were like, okay, wow, this is actually becoming the thing, you know?
Honestly, when I got my first gig at Space.
Okay.
I lost myself and found myself at that club.
When was this, sorry?
This was like 2020.
Okay.
Yes, 2020. It was like it was at the end of 2020. No, beginning of 2021.
And how long were you DJing before you got your first gig?
Like less than a year.
Wow, that's ridiculous.
But it's because I'm telling you, I wouldn't be where I am if I wasn't a party girl.
Okay.
Because I met everybody, I made all these connections that then when I started DJing as a career, I was like, oh my God, I actually have so many connections.
Wow.
And it helped me because the reality of this world is you could be super talented, but if you don't know people, it's really hard to get to places. It really is. And sometimes you could be not talented and just know people and you make it.
Yeah, fair enough.
So definitely getting my residency there is something that like really gave me like, okay, like this is real.
That
people
is huge. Yes. Already in such a short amount of time.
Exactly.
Like huge.
Yeah,
and at the time, what was you saying?
At the time I was in a trio.
Okay.
I was DJing with 2 other girls. And we were called Rougie Tunes.
Okay.
And we were just like 3 best friends, like DJing for fun, and suddenly it became successful. And like even one of the girls, like she was doing it as a hobby. She does not like the spotlight or any of that. Okay. And suddenly it became super successful. She was like, wait, like, I don't know. That's when we broke up because we kind of like, it wasn't a green thing, but we became like, I started it with them.
Okay.
And we started being residents at Space
That's
together.
crazy.
And it was really fun that I was doing this with like my best friends too. But yeah.
And wanted different things in the end,
Yeah.
basically. Okay, but you've always known, like, I want to get famous, or was it more like, this is a pure passion, let's see where it takes me, or what?
I mean, I will be real. I always wanted to be famous. I knew it was gonna be.
No. Explain the story about your mom and everything.
Yes,
Wait,
about my
sorry, one
mom.
more.
Yes. The reason why I say that is not because it could sound super like materialistic and egotistic to say that.
No, it's manifesting.
But since I was little, like when I was little, I did not have stage fright, okay? I was putting on shows for my family and my friends all the time. Like I would make shows and I would make my family pay for tickets to go to the living room and watch me dance, okay?
They had to pay.
They had to pay. But wait, what was the question again?
Did you always want to be famous? Like you knew?
Well, I had that personality in me, I think. And like I told you
it just
earlier,
like radiates off of you.
No,
Like,
it,
it
like,
really
but like I told you, my mom, back in the day, when I was still in her belly, she didn't want to know the gender until I came out. And I think she was the queen of manifesting that first. My dad always took videos on VHS, and there's a video of my dad filming my mother, and he asked her, like, okay, what do you think, it's gonna be a boy or a girl? And my mom put her hands on the belly, and she took a deep breath, closed her eyes, and she said, this is gonna be a girl, and she's gonna be a superstar.
Wow.
So she did that. It wasn't me. It wasn't even me.
That's good. Blame my mom. Blame my mom.
I always say mama said it first.
And speaking of the success in your career then, because thanks to your mom you get to this point, or just kidding, obviously it was you, but was there a specific moment, like a set or a message or a release that you noticed that things were really changing for you? Like, okay, now we're at a high level, basically.
When I started making music with Miguel and Tons, they're like my greatest collaborators now. They're literally my big brothers. We take care of each other like we're literally a family. And making music with them really, like, they just get me. I always say this, even when I make music with other producers and stuff, like, there's nothing like making music with them because I feel so me when I'm making music with them. And it's just been such a genuine journey with them. And when I started making music with them, suddenly my music was being played everywhere. My voice was everywhere. And I think they're a very big stepping stone for me when I started making music because people love their music. And when we're together, when we're together, it's like a powerhouse. And
how'd you guys get in contact? Sorry.
So my ex-boyfriend, he actually taught me how to DJ pretty much. And one day he was just like, you know who you would make great music with? And I was like, who? And he was like, Miguel and Tons. Let me take you to one of their parties.
Fun.
And he introduced me, and I met Tons first, and then he messaged me, and then the next day I went to their house, and we made Back to Basics, which is our first song ever. And the rest is literally history. We were neighbors in Miami.
No way.
And we were just like obsessed with each other. In like a very, like, we both helped each other grow. Like now Miguel is like taking singing lessons.
No way.
Yes. He's starting to sing more in our tracks.
You guys are about to collaborate on a whole nother level.
Yes. A lot of cool things are coming from the three of us.
Amazing.
Actually.
Well, we'll keep an eye out. And speaking of cool things, so you know the song La Musa with Jamie Jones. So what did that represent for your career, that song when it came out?
I think it very much solidified a lot of things for me.
Okay.
Because it's Jamie Jones, first of all.
Let's start there.
And I feel like I noticed people started treating me differently, which is funny, but a lot of people started looking at me differently as well. And it definitely opened a lot of doors. I started playing for Paradise, and, you know, it kind of like brought me out of just like the singer of Miguel and Tons, which is funny because a lot of people think that, even though they don't know that I'm like fully involved in the production and the writing and the composing.
Funny.
Like I went to Caracas in Venezuela.
Okay.
They're from Venezuela. Everybody thinks I'm Venezuelan because I make music with so many Venezuelans. But I went to Caracas and I will never forget, I finished DJing one of my biggest shows to date. And when I got off the decks, people were like, "You're a DJ? Like what?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" Like, they're like, "I thought you were just a feature on Miguel and Tons' songs." And I'm like, that's offensive, but thanks. I mean, but I think it really just like made me start doing more things on like my own, more than just like being their singer, which they don't see me as that.
No, of course.
And people are learning that I'm not just that.
Well, and they're gonna keep learning that you're not just that.
Will.
Okay. Wow, interesting. Yeah. And how did that connection start? Like, how did you?
Jamie?
Yeah. How did you work with Jamie?
So there was this era, like about 2 years ago, where suddenly, out of nowhere, all these managers were trying to sign me, like all the major managers in the industry, and I was like, okay, they were like basically fighting over me, literally, and I was like, oh my god, like people are really paying attention.
Oh my god,
like what? People are really paying attention.
Cool.
And so suddenly,
Can I ask once again, when all the managers were trying to find you and everything, after what track was that? After what moment was that?
It was after, I mean, at this point, I had already put out a lot of music with Miguel Intons.
Yeah.
And again, this is an era where people only knew me from my collaborations and definitely from my DJing.
Okay.
But I don't know, people just liked what I was doing.
Yeah.
And suddenly all these managers, I put them in the ringer, they were all fighting, and one of them, which is Jazz Spinder, he's Jamie Jones's manager, and he was like my top candidate, and he super selflessly just one day was like, hey, Jamie's gonna be in Miami for 3 weeks, like, do you wanna get in the studio with him? And I was like, fuck yeah.
Of course.
And literally went to the studio, to Raccoon Studios, where I actually recorded my first song ever. And it was just like a full circle moment, because I like started there and suddenly I made my biggest track there.
So you made La Musa with Jamie in the studio?
Yes.
Okay, so fun.
I will never forget that day. It was like so scary, but once I actually met him and I sat down with him and had a conversation with him, I felt so like calm, because he's such a normal but professional guy. Super stand-up, like has morals, respect, like he's super good. And I will never forget, he didn't like see me as like, okay, come sing on my song.
Right.
He like really wanted my opinion and wanted my input. And you know, that was my first big collaboration. So I was coming in super scared, like, oh my God, like Jamie Jones. But
he wanted to collaborate.
Yeah, he gave me creative freedom.
So nice.
Like, he let me put my fucking name on it, okay?
So nice.
I will never forget, I freestyled that first, se llama Miluhska, tú sabes que ella la Musa. And I walk out and I'm like, do you mind my name being on the song like that? He's like, yeah, it sounds sick. I was like, thank you, I think that's awesome.
Well deserved.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's really cool.
That is a great moment. I can understand how that must have been the moment you're like, all right, things are good in the world. And so when was the moment that you realized that you were no longer just a fan of the scene, but really part of it?
I think it was definitely Art Basel 2 years ago, when the Martinez brothers were playing La Musa non-stop. And I will never forget walking into space and going straight to the DJ booth to thank them. And Chris looked at me and he was like, you're so dope. Actually, let me just play the song right now. And it was like this huge moment for me and like all my friends from Miami and the Martinez brothers at Nowhere, and it was like the Martinez brothers were literally like fanning me. It was like this whole thing that I was like, what the fuck? Because usually, like, I always felt them as so big, and suddenly I felt like I was there with them and not like separate. But I said I will always be a fan, though.
Yeah, that's good. But still, in the scene is a good place to be.
Yeah.
So, playing at Space Miami in DC-10, what is the biggest difference between Space and DC-10? Space Miami and DC-10.
Guys, it's just... I said this earlier, but it's literally like same shit, different toilet. Sorry to use that, but it's like, it's just different vibes. Like, it's different vibes, but not really. Those are my two favorite clubs for sure. But the difference is really like, I don't know, Ibiza's Ibiza, Miami's Miami. Like, Miami's more like ratchet.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a little bit more class here. No offense.
It's just different.
But I love Ratchet. Okay?
Yeah,
I'm from Miami. It's just different.
I love Ratchet too. Every day of the week.
But they both have multiple rooms. They're both open till sunrise. I guess the only difference is that Miami never closes. Like Space Miami can go on for fucking forever.
Ibiza had to
until
shut
the
that
wheels
down.
fell off. Yeah.
But either way, it's so fun that you're able to play in both spaces like frequently now, which is incredible. So, last question before a little game we have prepared. Okay. When you think 5 years ahead, what is your vision for Miluhska?
5 years from now, Well, I've been working on a special project for 2 years now, exploring Miluhska as a singer, songwriter, and a producer, but it has nothing to do with electronic music. It's more like R&B, hip hop, flamenco infused. It's like a bunch of shit. But 5 years from now, I see myself going on tour as a singer for real.
Okay.
While still DJing in a more selective way. And I feel like the DJing is going to become more of like a special thing than a constant thing, because I want to be a pop star.
Okay,
Let's be real. I want to be a pop star. Wow. And it's coming, and it's slowly developing. I've been literally going to dance classes back at home. I've also been being coached by my singing coaches. And again, I've been making music more in like the other side of electronic music.
Wow.
But it's still gonna be very much part of me. Like, I'm not letting go of this.
No, never. Yeah. Wow, well, this is crazy, because us in 5 years will be like, can you believe we got that interview with Miluhska when she was just getting started? No. So that's incredible. You're gonna get there for sure. You have the right everything, and we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
So now we're gonna finish off this episode of Off Club with our favorite game, Finish the Sentence.
Okay.
I'm assuming you already know how it works. I say a few words, and you just say whatever comes to mind.
Okay.
So, Miami is
ratchet and sexy. And super hot.
Ibiza is
hot and sexy too. I don't know how
with a
else to
twist.
put it. With a twist, yeah.
Okay. My voice is
like butter.
Ooh, she confident. The best crowd is in
Ibiza.
Okay.
Honestly.
My favorite food is
Thailand. How do you say it?
Thai food.
Thai food and Peruvian food.
Okay.
Sorry, Ecuador, but like Peruvian is really it.
Good mix. Success is
love and God.
Okay. Ooh. My worst habit is
smoking.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's all right.
It's horrible. I have every reason to not be smoking, but fuck.
Yeah, you're right. We gotta watch that. We'll watch that.
I'm being real right now, okay?
That's what we like to hear. And the artist I'd love to collaborate with is
Rosalia.
Okay.
Number one.
Rosalia. It's time. Miluhska represents
fearlessness.
Beautiful answers. And finally, music is
my savior.
Wow. Beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Miluhska, for joining us today. We wish you the best of luck tonight in DC 10 and for the rest of your career, and only success from here on out. So,
yes,
thank you so
for
much
having me, guys.
Goodbye.
Esto se acabó.
No. Está.
¿Está bien? ¡Eh!